Are you worried about saying the wrong thing when it comes to sex education? Look, you're not alone. A lot of parents tell me they want to get it right, but they're terrified of saying too much too soon. In this video, I'll show you what age appropriate sex ed really means and why it's less about the topic and more about how you explain it. And hi, I'm Kath Hackinson, nurse, sex educator, and neurodivergent mum of two neurodivergent teens. And let me tell you, I've had to explain things to my kids that most parents never expect to. And later on in this video, I'll walk you through a quick example of how I handled a very awkward question in a way that was honest, age appropriate, and still protected their innocence. You'll want to hear this. Okay, we're going to start by reframing what age appropriateness is. And I want to bust that big myth. Age appropriate sex education doesn't mean that you've got to avoid certain topics or that you have to follow a rigid script of what to talk about. What it means is that you'll respond, age appropriate is about responding to your child's curiosity with calm, honest explanation. And you'll be explaining things in a way that makes sense for their age and stage of development. And look, sometimes life will throw you, into a conversation that you never saw coming. So I'll share a little story here for you. I live in the inner city, which means my kids have seen things that most kids don't see. I've got brothels nearby. I've got an adult shop down the road. We're in the inner city, so we get a lot of homeless people as well. A lot of people coming in to buy their drugs. And occasionally my kids have seen people having sex in the park or people masturbating on the street if there's a particularly bad batch of drugs out. We've even found used condoms and discarded sex toys together. So they're not things that I wanted my kids to see, and they were things that I didn't want to talk about. But because they saw it, it meant that we had to talk about it because they were curious. Why is that person doing that? What's this? So, because they were curious about some of the things I was stumbling upon, it meant that we had to talk about it. It didn't mean that I gave, if they found a condom, that I then gave in this big in-depth conversation about what condoms do and how they prevent pregnancy. It was just about explaining what something is and putting values around it.